Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I'm going to be talking about my complete thoughts over the Halo Infinite campaign. As you probably saw in the title of the video, there will be spoilers for the entire game. If you don't want to be spoiled about Halo Infinite yet, then you should go play the game and not watch this video, because I won't have like a section about it. And the only gameplay I'll be showing is of like the first mission, so if you only want to hear about it and not see it, you'll be good. Now I'll get into my thoughts. Overall, I thought this Halo campaign was pretty cool. Like, I kind of like the open world aspects of it, even though I feel like they can kind of expand on it. Like, I like the idea of going to save Marines and stuff, but then it doesn't really, like, other than Valor, which I don't even know what Valor kind of is in this aspect, it's kind of cool. I don't know. It just seems a little shallow, but hopefully it can be expanded upon. And I really do think that the whole overworld is super cool and looks very pretty. But the only thing is like, that there's only one biome kind of thing, you know, like in Halo 1, we got like forest, snow, different stuff to see, and this one's just like, oh, same forest for about 10 hours, which is cool. And like, even the inside areas can look very samey, which is kind of disappointing, but everything that you do see looks very nice, so I gotta give them credit for that. And yeah, I really liked a lot of the enemies in the game, which is pretty cool. Like, they all felt right. Like, I was kind of worried because Brutes and Elites haven't really interacted all that well in kind of any Halo game. Like, the Brutes just kind of played the role of the Elites in like Halo 3 and all that. So I was curious of how we were going to see them play together, and I thought they did pretty well. And talking about the enemies, I really do love all the designs. I think they look great. I still wish the Brutes looked like their Halo 2 Brutes, but what you gonna do? The Elites are probably my favorite. I do wish we had some more, like, variants. Like, you have your blue, your red, occasionally, like, the white. I want more, just because I think they look cool. And maybe, hopefully in the future, we get more customization for Elites, since maybe they'll be playable in the future, who knows. And yeah, so the overall story, honestly, I thought it was alright. There's a lot of moments that I'm like, oh yeah, this was cool. Like, when Master Chief talks with the pilot. He like sits down and is like, alright, everyone makes mistakes, it's alright, dude. I thought that was a cool moment. I really do like the weapon, and she was pretty cool. I did think certain parts of her were weird, like when she's like, now she's about to like delete her, and she's like, no, you can't delete me, haha, get pranked. And then later she realizes she's Cortana because of the snapping thing. And they have like a whole thing where it's like flashbacks to the cutscenes, and they're like, oh, you see that they're both snapping, and I'm like, oh, that's a weird, like, that could just be a thing all AI do, you know? So far in Halo's universe, we haven't seen like a whole ton of AIs doing different stuff, so how are we supposed to know? That was weird, especially since I knew she was the same as Cortana from Shadows of Reach or whatever. I just thought that was weird. I'm all over this video, like all over the place with this video. So bear with me. But I really did like the, like when he said Samuel when he's trying to delete the weapon. I thought that was cute, since Samuel was the first Spartan death and kind of John's best friend, maybe, in Fall of Reach. I don't know, it's been a while since I read that book, but that was a nice callback. And yeah, I really do like a lot of the callbacks. Like, they had Combat Evolved callbacks and all that stuff. I thought that was cool. With all like those semi-cutscenes to where you would have control, and you just see like a 3D model of like Cortana talking with like whoever, like Keys, whatever, Atriox. But yeah, I thought that was cool. And speaking of Atriox, I was really mad that I thought that they killed him. And looking back, it makes sense why they wouldn't have killed him. But I was like, oh, that's disappointing. Because I was worried that they were going to reset a lot of stuff from Halo 5, and that's kind of the case. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I was like, oh, okay, I guess Escharim's the big bad, which makes sense. And I'm going to kind of lean to the boss fights, and I don't like the boss fights. I played Halo Infinite for the first time on Heroic, so this may just skew my thing. But a lot of them are super boring and just like regular enemies, but with a lot more health. And sometimes they can just take forever to dwindle their health down to finally kill them. Like, they were cool. Some of the gimmicks were cool, but then I'll see online, they're like, the Harbinger boss fight was super cool. And I'm like, was it? You're fighting enemies, like wave after wave, and then you get to attack the Harbinger, and she can just teleport behind you and kill you. And that's the end. It's like, boom. I don't know. I didn't think that there was anything cool. I thought the Escharim boss fight was much better, because at least you're doing something sometimes. Like, you'll be able to, like, you'll have a shield that you gotta destroy because it's hurting the pilot or whatever. I don't know, that was weird. I didn't think the boss fights were anything special. I honestly wish that there were Scarabs, because Scarabs are a much better boss fight than these, I think. Just because you're not fighting it for hours at least it feels like. Anyway, the hunters are kind of bad. They turn too much and know where you are at all times, so you can't hit their back. Hunters are supposed to be hard, I guess. And yeah, I guess I'll talk about the ending. I didn't have a script for this video, so I'm kind of all over the place like I've said, so hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. But yeah, I did kind of like that send-off for Cortana. I thought it was kind of sad just because it's like, oh man, even if you don't like her in Halo 5, she somehow turns back without any, like, it's Atriox talking to her. I think it would have been cooler if it was Master Chief trying to show her all the things she's done, because this just makes it seem like Cortana just like reset herself, you know, like reflected, which is kind of weird. Oh, it's also weird, I don't get this. Let me know in the comments if you get this, if you've watched this far. Why is Cortana stuck on Zeta Halo? She's an AI in the domain, which is basically like a living internet. Can't she just make copies of herself and be anywhere? Like, I get that there was a part where there's an AI on this like Spartan 4 training and he blows up and he's like, alright, I'll serve with you to the end, Cortana, and dies because he has a physical like chip or whatever. That makes sense. I just don't get it. I guess the weapon trapped her. Now that I think about it, but I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't get why the weapon would, I don't know. I don't get how she would be trapped and then she dies. But then she dies for kind of nothing because Atriox is still alive at the end. And maybe opening the endless. I don't know, I haven't beaten it on Legendary yet because I am bad at the game. It's taking me forever. I think another problem I had with this game was that I feel like Master Chief didn't know the stakes at the end. Like, he knows the Banished, and I thought the whole Banished part was good, but then we go into the Harbinger, and then I don't understand what's happening. Like, she's talking about the Reformation. I feel like we needed like a Halo 4 librarian scene where she's just like talking to you about what this is going to be. Because this is what I think. I haven't watched any videos on this. This is just me trying to piece the facts together as I know them from playing the game. The Forerunners trapped all these the things called Endless, and maybe the Harbinger isn't Endless, I don't know, or she's just like a weird space lady, and she gets out because the Banished let her out for some reason. That's just me literally not remembering. I'm sure they talked about that. And she's like, oh no, the Forerunners trapped me for no reason. Okay, I'm gonna release the Endless, which may be my kind. And then Master Chief's like, alright, this can't be good. Like in Halo CE, you see the Flood take on Johnson, Keyes, and Jenkins. You know the stakes, you know what they can do, then you fight them. So by the end of Halo CE, there's a reason for you to blow up this ring, other than it can be used to kill the world, because you know what these guys can do. But the Endless, you never see them until apparently the Legendary ending or something, I don't know. I honestly haven't watched it. Which is like, if I knew this, like, I get the stakes, you know, bad aliens. Master Chief, I feel like, never knew the stakes enough for it to be a proper threat. And then you stop them. You stop the Harbinger, you kill her. She's like, oh no, I'm dead. And then the game ends. Because then it's like in the middle of the cutscene, I got like the 5 achievements or whatever that you get for being the game on heroic. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's the end. Is there going to be like a Warthog run? Because then the room starts destroying itself. Like, oh, cool. It'll be a cool get out of the silent auditorium or wherever they called it. But then no, they just teleport out of there. But then here's the twist. I twist that. I don't know if it means anything. The weapon's like, or wait, no, Master Chief's like, where are we? And the weapon's like, the real question is, when are we? And I'm like, what the heck? Is this like a time travel thing? And then I guess they were in there for like 3 days, or like the teleporter took 3 days. I mean, it was like subspace or something, I don't know. But then it's like not enough time for it to mean anything yet. Because then the pilot just picks him up and he's like, hey guys, you just appeared out of nowhere. And I'm here, game beaten, not knowing what the heck is happening. I'm like, does it matter? What was the point? Are we just gonna skip the time? I don't know. Then we get on the Pelican, and the woman's like, oh, we never knew your name, and he says his name, which I can't remember what his name is. So I'm gonna keep calling the pilot, because I think his name is pretty long. Which seemed like a weird reveal, because I always remember being like, oh, what was this guy's name? I thought it was weird, I think that they wasn't saying it, and they reveal him, and I'm like, oh, this isn't like Star Wars where you can say a name, and it means something. It just seemed weird. And I'm assuming the weapon's taking on Cortana's name, which is kind of funny because during my whole playthrough, whenever I saw her, I was like, oh, that's Cortana. But it isn't. But I kind of wish they gave her another name, like something similar to Cortana, but just to kind of separate them and give her her own identity. But I get why they won't. It's fair, but I don't get the ending. In the ending, you see Atriox or whatever after the very long credits. That took like 10 minutes. Like, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, you see Atriox. in like first person, and I was like, oh cool, and he's alive, and then maybe the Endless, I don't know. And in the scene there'll just be like the Flood, but not mature, which is cool. And that brings me to maybe my last point of the video. We'll see. This game probably needs DLC. It's probably going to get it because I doubt FIFA 3 is going to make a whole nother game for a very long time. They're probably just going to keep building off of this, which is cool. I think that makes sense. But I wish we had like a release date, because I know at least a few of the campaign designers were contract workers, and then they are working full-time at other places. So I don't know if they're going to reuse levels or what. I hope they don't. That would seem cheap to me, but who knows. But the story I feel like needs a little bit more, because I liked what we had, but the ending was unsatisfying and very open. Almost Halo 2 levels for me, but at least in Halo 2, when I played it, I could play Halo 3 right after. I think in the future, like in a year, I think this will all be fine, because we'll hopefully at least know the release date for DLC. But like, come on. At the end, I was like, hey, did anything change necessarily? Because you killed Escharum and you killed a lot of his subordinates. Oh, this is nothing for the subordinates or whatever, all those bosses. Outside of the books, they have no meaning to the story at all. They're just, at the end of the day, they are just people to fight. They don't give you anything. Sometimes you don't even get like a little cutscene to kind of introduce them, you know? Like there's that one guy with the gravity hammer who can jump and kill you instantly, which is another problem I have. And it's like, oh cool, we kind of see his personality. And it's just like, oh, these guys could have been so cool. And then we got nothing from them, which is disappointing because you kill half of them. So yeah, it's like, you killed all those guys, but then the Banished are still here because Aatrox's still alive. I don't know. We need DLC. Tell me where Llodg is, Palmer. I don't even remember. I don't think I ever found a audio log with Palmer. Oh, and the audio logs. This is my whole rant about Halo Infinite. The audio logs are pretty cool, but some of them are very hard to find, and hopefully they don't tell you about like some big massive story that you can't piece together on your own. Because apparently some of those, even with a guide, suck to get, so I don't know. I hope we get DLC. I think the overall game, great. Very fun, grapple hook, so fun. I know I ranted a lot, but honestly, this is probably an 8 out of 10 for me. I don't get why people are so gung-ho on the bosses. I think they're mid at best. Though I feel like shooters can never really do bosses well, but that's just me. Story was kind of mid. I think it put it on the right track, and I'm kind of glad it didn't completely just kind of like retcon all of Halo 5's. Though I kind of wish we got to see a little bit more of Cortana as a cool, using Guardians to blow up planets, which I didn't know they could do. I did like all the Cortana stuff though, mostly, except for her death. I really like that. Like all the stuff where they're talking about Halo 5, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is stuff I wanted to see, not retcon. Go with it. Yeah, I thought that was all cool, and the Banished for why they hate her, even though I think it's just hate her because they hate her, not because they need to blow up the planet. I'm really hoping like E3 we see some trailer where they're like, we're now working on DLC that's like $30 or something, and then you'll get to play as like the Arbiter, maybe continue Master Chief's story, and then you can finish the fight or something, I don't know. Because this story needs to I need to know where it's like going, you know? So I kind of get where it's going, but like, what's the point? I like this game. It's probably an 8 out of 10. I feel like in a year it'll probably be a 9 out of 10 once it fixes a lot of the bugs and stuff, you know, just for like the overall game. But yeah, I guess this is the end of the video. So you can let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me. I don't mind. If you love the game, I wish I could love the game as much as you do. So yeah. If you want to watch some of my other videos where I talk about how much I like Halo Infinite, you can. And yeah, if you like the video, subscribe. Like the video, I guess. I don't know. I'm talking too much. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye.